So maybe perhaps the first place to start is to understand that we want to learn from the best there is in the world. And we think definitely Israel is a leading nation, both from a food security perspective, but also some of the agricultural technologies they have. And what we are doing during this event is trying to connect with Israeli businesses, learn from them, and use that as a basis to inform how Kenya approaches food security, how it increases its productivity, how we work with small-scale farmers to increase their yield and their profitability. And of course, we know the sector itself is central to some of the policies that particularly the new government has announced. The thing is, if you look at what Israel has been able to achieve using the limited resources they have, whether it's a very, very harsh climate, of course, limited resources around water, and what Kenya similarly is facing, it means that we have actually a nation from which we can learn and learn successfully because they've been able to do it and do it in fairly short time spans. The audience we have in this event today is comprised of not just Israeli companies, but Kenyan companies that are already in agriculture or intending to be in agriculture, that are dealing with big agricultural operations, but also smaller scale operations. And they cut across all the full agricultural value chain. So as EY, our role is really to help convene all these stakeholders, drive dialogue that is focused around the issues that are central to Kenya. And those, as you said, touch on food security, they touch on productivity, they touch on enabling the small-scale farmers, and of course learning from, as I say, what I think is one of the leading nations in the world around agriculture and agricultural technology. At the end of the day, the implications of this, I think, should be that we see real alliances and partnerships between the Kenyan businesses and the Israeli businesses. We want to see real programs coming out of this. As a firm, of course, our intention is to support those. And of course, we invite other stakeholders to join with us. We've had representatives also from the Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya who are part and parcel of this event. And we've seen some of the pointers they have given around the support and encouragement on events such as this. And we hope to have many more. But principally, we want to learn from the best, and I think we're in the right place. So it's a good point. You ask about the agri-tech technologies that Israel is bringing or should bring, or we hope will come through to Kenya. They cut across different domains, but at least the three ones that I would highlight. The first one is around using limited water resources to actually farm very productively. Whether it's advanced ways of measuring how much water plants need, for example, more advanced drip irrigation systems, more advanced greenhouse systems that are actually fairly affordable for small-scale farmers. The second bit of it is how to use data to actually make fact-based decisions as part of your agricultural operations. I think there's a lot that is left to chance, particularly by small-scale farmers, either because they don't have the info or they don't know how to actually use the information. And we are seeing applications from Israeli companies that actually address that, and they are fairly accessible, in my view. The third bit is actually the more value-based technologies. How to take, for example, the agricultural produce you already have and harvest it better, preserve it better, process it better with lower waste, so that we also reduce the post-harvest losses. So we think that the technologies that we are seeing here will be technologies that Kenyan companies and Kenyan, particularly small-scale farmers, will be able to embrace, of course, in collaboration with the Israeli companies and with a firm like ours supporting them to make it a success.
The volume of trade currently between Kenya and Israel is approximately around $50 million a year, and that doesn't even scratch the potential of the collaboration between the Kenyan economy and the Israeli economy. I think that there is a lot of room of collaboration on agriculture, on medical devices, on water solutions. You know, you need to keep in mind that Israel is recycling approximately 90% of its wastewater. We constantly reuse our water, and these kinds of solutions can be very relevant for the Kenyan market. Agri-technology, you know, we use anything and everything, starting from simple tractors to drones technology, mobile apps in order to monitor the health of the plants. I think that some of these technologies can be implemented here in the market and help Kenyan farmers to grow more crops per drops, and I think the scope is very, very substantial. All we need to do is to bring Israeli entrepreneurs and farmers with Kenyan entrepreneurs and farmers, and to create good business between our sides, both sides. As per my understanding, it's very, very good. I see a lot of Israeli companies operating their businesses over here. Just visited the Naivasha Agro Festival last weekend, and there were over 15 Israeli companies represented over there that I think represent a large interest coming from the Israeli side to work in Kenya and collaborate with the Kenyan's farmer, and at the same time shows a lot of interest from the Kenyan market to work with Israel and procure and adopt Israeli technologies, Israeli solutions for the Kenyan market. We are expecting to have 3 or 4 agro delegation to Israel in the months of November and December this year. I think it also shows a lot of interest coming from the Kenyan side to visit Israel, to explore. Even today's event, organized by the embassy and EY, it's an example of the joint interest between Kenyan entrepreneurs and businesses in the agri sector and Israelis that want to collaborate and join hands with Kenyans businessmen and women.
So around 5 years ago, that was in, I think, 2017, Standard Group decided to re-strategize into how we do business, basically because we were concentrating a lot on entertainment, politics, and basically what we consume as Kenyans on TV, radio, and print. We decided to focus on economic pillars, mainly driven by agribusiness, education, events, health, SMEs, development, and sports. So under the agribusiness pillar, actually, before you even venture into the agribusiness pillar, the company then, under each pillar, was able to establish a working team that would support all that in terms of relaying information to the Kenyan public. So under the agribusiness pillar, we have Farm Kenya initiative, of which I am a project leader of. And sorry, I should have started with my name. My name is Njoki Tho. And what we normally do under Farm Kenya is we have 360 media platforms that spans across TV, radio, print, digital platforms. And basically, we talk to farmers and relay the technical information that you guys have as the different organizations here. I think the lady who spoke, I think Sheila, said that this is a knowledge-rich room. And our reason why we are here is to be able to pick the knowledge that you guys have and relay it to the Kenyan farmers or the Kenyan public. As such, we have different platforms that enable us to do that. And allow me to just speak on our favorite under Farm Kenya, which is KTN Farmers TV. And it's the first ever 24-hour TV channel that purely speaks about agriculture. Under that, we are able also to carry out farmer events. We do lots of farmer trainings. We do lots of field days. And I've seen several partners that we've worked with in the room, Yariv being one of them, Coopers Kenya. Thank you for the support. And most recently, we are planning a delegation to Israel, where we want to take Kenyan farmers so that they can come see the technology that the Israeli farmers are using, and then we'll bring them back and have a cohort that will actually look into implementing the technologies that they've learned from Israel. Then the other thing that we're looking to do is local tours, again, through the Israeli Economic and Trade Mission to Kenya through Joanna and Barak's team. They've been gracious enough to connect us to the farmers or farms in Kenya that are utilizing technologies, and our role is to take the farmers or practicing Kenyan farmers to these farms so that they can be able to learn from each other. Lastly, how we ensure that the information that we're talking, or rather that we're broadcasting and disseminating to the farmers is technically sound, mainly because we have the platform, we do not have the knowledge. We work closely with partners, so partnerships is a key aspect of Farm Kenya, and we invite each and every person represented here, whether you are an Israeli company or a Kenyan company, to talk to us. Let's look into partnerships so that we can see how we are going to educate the Kenyan farmers. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.
I'm sure that the Kenyan government will assist the Kenyan farmers. We, Israel and Israeli companies, can contribute to this effort by giving advice, knowledge, not advice, but knowledge, sharing knowledge and selling knowledge as well, and technology, and also market and finance. Because these four themes or four items are crucial. You can have the best products, you don't have the market, you go nowhere. You have everything else, but you don't have the finance, you do nothing. So all this together, on all these things, I think we can do much together. So far, we haven't done too much in the last few years, to be honest. Israeli companies are not very present in Kenya, and this event is really a kickoff, I think, to a new beginning. We heard the speech, we listened very carefully to the inauguration speech of a new elected president, the emphasis we put on agriculture. We will go and we will do together things not only in agriculture, but in agriculture we can do many things together. The president was talking about fertilizers. We have here a company that is looking to establish local production of fertilizers, not only selling them. So I'm sure that we can do things together. Well, of course, one challenge is finance. So we have also a few companies here that offer interesting online digital solutions for financing. Of course, when an Israeli project company comes, they can bring also finance with them. It's not an easy thing to solve the financial issues of so many low-income farmers. It needs a risk, it includes a risk, but together we can find a way, because the Israeli small-scale farmers started from very small, and today they are not very small anymore. So there is a way, and we know how to go forward. The main aim is to introduce the Israeli companies to the private sector in Kenya. I think we are quite ignorant about the strength and the diversity of the private sector in Kenya, and this is a good opportunity to get them to know them, and we have a very distinguished crowd here, and as well to get the local companies to know Israeli companies. We have almost 20 Israeli companies here, so that's a good beginning to get to know each other.